Hi, welcome to Busy, Smart, and Strong. I'm Becky Lynn, and you probably have heard, how could you not have heard, all the rage these days is gluten-free. Gluten-free this, gluten-free that. Is it a fad? Is it a fact? What is gluten? Do you even know? Well, I have an expert to help us sift through all of that today. This is Dr. Andrea Purcell. How are you today? Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Becky. Thank you so much.
So tell us a little bit about who you are. You're based in Scottsdale, is that correct, or Phoenix?
That's right. I'm in Scottsdale. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I take a natural integrative approach to digestive health.
Okay, great. That's just what we want to know about. First of all, Dr. Purcell, what is gluten?
Yes, I think
know
a
it's
lot
in
of
bread.
people want to be gluten-free. Have heard about it, but they don't know what it is. Gluten is a protein that is specifically found in 3 grains: wheat, barley, and rye.
Wheat, barley, and rye. So now you know, because we're going to go over some myths in a moment about what is gluten, what has gluten, what doesn't. And you mentioned to me that there are 2 different kinds of issues that are going on, because everybody seems to want to be gluten-free these days, but everybody doesn't maybe need to be gluten-free. But what are the 2 issues?
That's certainly true, Becky. So the 2 categories of people that are dealing with gluten intolerance are, 1, people who just have found themselves to be gluten intolerant, and the second group who have been officially diagnosed with celiac disease.
And that is, I don't even know what that is. What is that, a digestive disorder, or what is that?
Yeah, that's so funny that you asked. It's actually one of our myths, that people think that celiac disease is just a digestive problem, but it actually is a whole body autoimmune condition that starts inside the digestive system. And what happens if someone has celiac when they eat gluten is that they are unable to digest vitamins and minerals from their food. So it really impairs their digestive function.
Gotcha. So then people then who are just gluten intolerant, what are their symptoms, or what has caused them to believe that they are now gluten intolerant?
Right. So for the gluten intolerant population, they mostly have digestive symptoms which resolve when they avoid gluten.
Okay.
So it's not whole body. It tends not to be. It is not autoimmune like celiac. It's just they may have gas, bloating, indigestion, diarrhea, and or constipation, abdominal cramping with gluten.
You mentioned that there are some myths that are kind of going around about being gluten-free or with a gluten-free diet. I'd like for you to address those. Let's start with the first one, that buckwheat contains gluten. Buckwheat pancakes, I think of that. What is, it says wheat.
Right, so just because it has wheat in the name doesn't mean it contains gluten. So remember when we started our conversation, the 3 grains to avoid are wheat, barley, and rye. So buckwheat is not in that equation. It's a very nutritious grain for patients with celiac disease or if they're gluten intolerant. But here's the caveat. If you are wanting buckwheat pancakes, like you said, you really have to be a super label reader, because many of the buckwheat pancake mixes are half buckwheat, half wheat flour. So it has to say gluten-free.
Okay. All right. Another myth, that it's okay to eat a small amount of gluten if you're going gluten-free.
Right. So this is particularly the case in someone with celiac disease. It's not okay for someone with celiac to even eat 1 crumb of gluten.
Wow, that's hard.
It's so hard. And that's why it's important to know if you in fact have celiac disease, or if you're maybe one of these gluten intolerant people.
Okay. Another myth, that you just addressed this, that it's a digestive problem. It can be the celiac is more than just digestive.
It's a whole body condition.
Okay. All right. A gluten-free diet is for weight loss.
Right. Well, there's a caveat there. If you're going to eat gluten-free muffins, cupcakes, cookies, and crackers, probably you're not going to lose a pound. But if you want to follow a healthy gluten-free diet, fruits, vegetables, gluten-free grains, beans, meats, as if we came from a farm eating a farm-like diet, you will lose weight.
This reminds me a little bit of back when the low-carb phase was going on, and everything you could find low-carb, everything that would normally be all carb. And somebody said, well, you're just getting a lot more fat, sugar, and all these other things and weird stuff that you probably shouldn't be eating anyway. So that kind of makes me
it has to be healthy gluten-free.
Okay. And another myth, that a gluten-free diet is healthy.
Right. So gluten-free grains are not required to be fortified. So the
Okay.
FDA does not require fortification of gluten-free grains. And this is important because all wheat in this country is required to be fortified. So when wheat is processed, grains are bleached, essential minerals are leached out, and then we add back in those vitamins and minerals. Currently, there are no requirements for gluten-free grains. So if you're going to eat an unhealthy gluten-free diet with a lot of the grains, the white rice flour, the potato flour, the tapioca, on and on, those are bleached and they're not required to be fortified.
So you really have to be a label reader, it sounds like. Is it hard if you have decided to go gluten-free to eat out? I mean, I've got a few friends that go out to restaurants and they're always talking to the servers, oh, I'm eating gluten-free. Some restaurants accommodate that, some don't. I do know that there's now a gluten-free restaurant called Nourish here in the Valley. But what about going out to eat when you are dealing with this?
Eating out is challenging if you want to be on a gluten-free diet. We're lucky to be in this valley. To tell you the truth, there are a number of restaurants. There's Nourish, there's Jules Bakery and Cafe. It's 100% gluten-free. There's Gluten-Free Creations is another bakery that has multiple locations here in the valley. It's very challenging to be gluten-free and eat out. Many restaurants are trying to get up to speed quickly and offer gluten-free items. However, if you're that celiac patient and you cannot eat one crumb of gluten, that patient really has to do their due diligence before they go out. And then when you get to the restaurant, ask about what's happening back in the kitchen because you don't know. You don't know if they're using the same cutting boards, toasters, ovens. I mean, it's very serious.
For a person with celiac disease, I could see how that would be an issue. Now, here are your healthy, gluten-free items, it looks like, that she's brought to display, and a cookbook. Is that what that is, a
That's
cookbook?
right. That's my gluten-free cookbook. And it's called Feed Your Cells because every time we eat, we want to feed ourselves at a cellular level.
Okay, all right. Awesome. Well, I don't know if you're gluten-free or if you're considering going gluten-free, but now you have a little bit more information to help you make that decision. Dr. Purcell, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Becky.
And thanks for watching Busy, Smart, and Strong.